Okay, so I ran this animation and I saw something really weird. I mean, it looks cool. So I'm just going to show you why it's doing this. And if you guys want to keep this, it won't change how your simulation works right after it does the first Maclaurin series. So if you guys like how it looks, you can keep it. But the one mistake that I made, that I saw as a mistake, was after giving this data point an x start, we need to tell its position not to default at 0, 0. You see how they were all emerging from 0, 0? We need to tell it to start at the value we gave you, the x start we gave you. So if you do that, it will look the way that I envisioned it, which everything starts at a straight line and then it rises. And so yeah, that's what happens when you run the code. So it looks really nice. So there's just a couple more things we have to do to make it look like it's painting the canvas, kind of like the way that the sneak peek looked like. So the first thing we need to do is we need to only draw the background once. Because if we only draw the background once, then every previous dot will be on the screen, which will make it look like it was painting. So if you don't understand, I'll just show you, and I would encourage you to follow along. But if you like how it looks right now, you can stop then. But I feel like it looks better when it's like kind of painting the canvas. So now it's kind of painting. So it's the background is only drawn once, so it remembers it's showing where all the dots have been and where they're going. So the next thing we have to do is make it a different color once we go to another term. And that's kind of easy because we already have an if statement that knows when the next term is coming. All we have to do is, once we know when the next term is coming, is there a way that we can change the color of all the dots in that this object is responsible for? So one way we can do that is we can create a new property in the data point object called this dot. Let's call it point color. It's the color of the points, which equals a color object, which is a P5js function. 255. So rather than giving it a default color, we can give it a dynamic color that we can change dynamically from outside of this specific object. So now, instead of having a default, we can change this point color property outside of this object. So we remember point color, so just save that. We come back out here and we say var new color. I'm just naming that because we want to make a new color every single time there's a new term. So I'm just going to call it new color equals a color object that's random 100 to 255. Random is a function of P5js, which takes a lower bound and an upper bound. I'm keeping the lower bound pretty high because I want colors that are generally lighter, not darker. If you get values like 0, you're gonna get really dark colors, and dark colors on a background don't really look nice. So now, yeah, we have a random color. So we have a color that takes in 3 values, and all these values are random. So we should have a nice array of just beautiful display. So for var I equal to 0, I smaller than sign x and xms dot data points dot length I plus plus, and we're just going to say sign xms dot data points at I dot point color, which is the value that we're dynamically changing, and we're going to change it to a new color, which we declared up here, which is a random color. So every single time you change your new term, you should change your color. So that sounds good. Oh, and while we're at it, so do you remember how we had this Maclaurin series number 1? So one thing we can do is, if we know we're changing our term every time, then we can also dynamically change this div. So we can come over here and we can just type in document dot get element ID, and we named it n series if you forgot, and we can just say inner HTML equals Maclaurin series number, and then we just say, and sign XMS has a property that keeps track of what Maclaurin series we're on. So let's just subtract that by 1 because even though we're on the first Maclaurin series, n is actually 0, or the first term n is actually 0 in our case. So we're just gonna subtract 1 from that, and that should dynamically change both the color and this div. So the first time it's going to be white because we defaulted it when the data point object is created. We defaulted it to be white, but you can obviously put a random values between whatever and 255. So you can do that on your own. But I like it starting out as white. Why did that change? Okay, something went wrong. Let me check. Document.get element. What is this? It seems like it didn't like that -1, but I mean that's a really small technicality. So I'm just gonna leave it because I think because it's thinking like it's concatenating, which is a programming word that you might not know, but it thinks it's concatenating and then it sees that minus and it just gets all weird. So we'll just leave it out. But yeah. So why isn't it changing the color? Do we not save this? Fill this dot point color. What color? We're changing all the point colors inside of this. So next ms dot data points add I dot point point color. Don't you hate that? Point color. So now it should work. So let's watch it run. It should paint the screen. And if you don't like how slow it's going, just remember if you make the travel speed smaller, meaning you say take less steps to get to where you need to be, it'll speed up. And there it goes. How beautiful that is. So yeah, there it goes. So that's how we're gonna paint it. And lastly, we're just gonna make a nice restart button. So we have a function in the HTML called restart simulation. So we're gonna create that function in the simulation.js file. Maclaurin Series simulation, sorry. So we're just gonna say function control V simulation. And pretty much what this is gonna do is gonna say Sinx ms dot restart simulation. Restart rest equal true. That's gonna be a boolean we're gonna put up through here. And we're just gonna say if restart pressed, meaning if it equals true, if it equals true, then we're going to draw a background. The minute we draw the background once, we need to tell it to be false so that it doesn't draw the background ever again until we tell it to draw it. And we just have to declare this variable var restart pressed equals a boolean false. Okay. And so we have this restart simulation, but we actually don't have this in the equation object. We have to put that in. Okay, so this is just a minor change. It'll work either way, with or without this change. So let me just do it without, and then I'll show you with, and I'll just show you why this change really doesn't matter that much. But let me just show you real quick. Ooh, you see how beautiful that looks? That could be a nice thumbnail. Maybe I should take a screenshot of that before it goes. Control print screen. Okay. So we're just going to. Is this not? You don't want to listen to me? I just clicked on you. Why aren't you changing? Me, oh my. Okay, so I accidentally put restart simulation in the data point object. It's supposed to be in the equation object because yeah, the equation object is the one with all these properties that we're trying to clear. So that should work. So if we come back through here, just a simple kind of stupid mistake. I mean, everyone makes. Look how beautiful that looks. So so all this was about talking about that little change. So if you look at this, you see how it doesn't always start at white anymore. So if you put this simple change in, if you just say this dot next term, what will happen is if you put this equation in here, I mean this expression in here, what will happen is it'll run the next term, and it'll run the next term with the first thing it will do is we'll run the next term with white as the default. But without that expression, it'll actually go through the simulation. It'll say, hey, we just created these objects, so none of them are traveling. So it'll actually go through here and run the next term. And then because we're going through here, all the colors are given a random value to begin with. So if you want that, that's fine. So you see that there's green right here, but if you don't, then you just put that small expression in there, and no matter, it'll always be white when you restart it. So that's just a small little change that I noticed. But yeah, I always like it starting with white as the background so that when it does this, it just makes it that much more appealing, that much more beautiful. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you learned something about calculus, about programming, about how what you're good at, your weaknesses, your strengths, and I hope that just creating the Maclaurin series out of pure curiosity was satisfying. Um, and yeah, I can't wait to do more videos like this, and can't wait to yeah, just keep doing videos like this and creating beautiful simulations out of pure curiosity.